JD from the Lynch Mob found me in the audience, and he's like, yo, Ice-T's looking for you. And then he found me, and then the next day I went up to the house in Hollywood Hills. Like a couple days after that, he threw me on his album. He gave me a whole song.
Which album was this?
It's Home Invasion.
Home Invasion.
And it's called Funky Gripsta number 17.
So when Ice-T reprimands you, when you get in trouble, does he come in like, yo, T, I got to talk to you?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're f***ing up right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Oh, you got that talking. You got, he's really, he really never has to reprimand, but if he has something serious to tell me, he comes up. He's like, look, T, and he breaks it down. He never yells. Never yells. I've never been yelled at by
So
him.
he's like a player dad.
He's
too.
He's
always
cool
playing.
all the time.
How did you meet Ice-T?
Well, I got in a hip hop competition, like ASCAP Publishing Company. They would have back then, rap was a lot more new, so they would have like these industry competitions. So I got in the competition and went through the stages. I made it through the finals. When I got through the finals, a gentleman named Michael Concepcion.
Oh yeah, I know the OG.
Yeah, OG.
Michael
He
Concepcion.
introduced us.
He did. We all in the same game.
Yep. So he introduced us. I guess he had seen me at the semifinals, and at the finals he says, "Oh, He calls me over to the table. He's sitting there with Ice. And he's like, oh, there's this little girl. I want you to see her. She's going to be rocking the stage. So Ice is like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to check you out. So I went up there, and I didn't have, like, background dancers or anything. And I was just this kid, and I just rocked the mic by myself. And then when I came off stage, Lynch Mob, is it JD?
Yeah, JD.
JD from the Lynch Mob found me in the audience. And he's like, yo, Ice-T's looking for you. And then he found me, and then the next day I went up to the house in Hollywood Hills. Like a couple days after that, he threw me on his album. He gave me a whole song.
Which album was this?
It's Home Invasion.
Home Invasion.
And it's called Funky Gripsta number 17.
Yeah.
Like an entire song. And she walked in the studio when we were doing that.
Yeah. Were you going by Gripsta then?
Yes.
How'd you get the name?
Well, it was kind of like, I kind of had started like a crew in junior high, like and we weren't like banging, but we thought we were tough.
Okay.
And I think one of my friends was like, you should call yourself Grip. So I'm like, yeah, that sounds hard. Yeah. And I thought I was tough, So I just, I went to, back then people were putting Stuz on their name. Yeah. So I'm like, Gripsta.
Right.
So that's kind of how I came up with it. But I had it before I was really rapping.
So I seen some of your old, some of the old footage from back then. Were you influenced by Boss? Had Boss come out yet?
Yes, I was influenced by Boss.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Right. I could see the influence. Yeah. Just in terms of the presentation. Because you were hard back then.
Yeah. And I'm still hard now. I'm just I'm just grown up.
Right.
So on the outside, it might, but nah, we still hard.
Because back then,
for sure.
you got to think, especially coming from the West Coast, it really wasn't. Like Salt and Pepper were they were feminine, you know what I mean? But coming from the West Coast, you had, Boss was representing the West, even though she was from Detroit. But it was kind of this rough, khakis, flannels, you know what I mean?
Well,
type of thing.
I believe girls had to fit in with the guys in hip hop at that time to even be taken seriously because all the rest of the girls, if you were dressed like a hoochie, you was a dancer.
That's right, especially
so
in that
era.
You're
You're
right.
right. With your gear on, you know, you looked like, oh, I'm here for that action.
No, that's real. Because if you think about it, like HWA, they was before their time. They was the hot girls back then.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I remember
but they didn't take. People didn't really.
357.
Yeah. 357. Yeah. Okay. So now Ice-T puts you on Home Invasion. I mean, does he sign you to Rhyme Syndicate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he signs me to Rhyme Syndicate, and then through Rhyme Syndicate, they shopped me a record deal. So I think I got offers from Geffen, Virgin, and A&M, and we went with A&M.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So I want to come back to that. So, but you meet T, Ice-T's daughter, right?
Yeah.
So how did y'all click? What made that? You know, because this is now 30 plus. I don't want but
there you go.
It's a minute.
Cut that part. Nah. Well, my dad, when he did see Grip, he came home so excited. I was like, this girl, she's lit. She's young. I'm like, oh, she's a rapper. You got to see her. I'm like, how old is she? 13. I'm like, 13? At this time, I think I was, like 16, maybe
Something like
15 or
Now
something.
you was 13 too.
Yeah, I was 13 too. So, but no, when we linked up, I don't know, I kind of took on like a big sis role. Our parents were working, so we were together. We like were babysitting each other. Like you go with T.
Nice.
So we clicked immediately. Like,
Okay.
you know.
Nice. So let me ask you real quick. So obviously you being the OG, the super OG of the whole fucking rap game, one of the godfathers of gangster rap. What was that like for you being Ice-T's daughter?
I mean, back then it was kind of hard for me to wrap my head around. It was just dad.
Right.
But I started noticing how big he was when people were like, "Oh, Ice-T's your dad." Like I'm like, "Oh yeah," I didn't really put the two together, like you know. But it was fun. I got to meet a lot of people, had a lot of experiences that a lot of people didn't have. But for me, it didn't really faze me that much.
So I'm trying to imagine. So when Ice-T reprimands you, when you get in trouble, does he come in like, "Yo, T, I gotta talk to you"?
Yeah, pretty much.
You're fucking up right now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
Oh, you know, you got that talk. You got. Yeah, he's really. I mean, he really never has to reprimand. But if he has something serious to tell me, he comes up. He's like, "Look, T," you know, and he breaks it down. He never yells.
Yeah.
Never yells. I've never been yelled at by
So he's
him.
like a player dad.
He's
too.
He's
always
cool
playing.
all the time. All the time. Even when I'm freaking out. I remember when I was younger, but oh, he's like, "Look, chill. Everything's good." You know.
Everything's good, T. I got you.
Yeah, he's always been that way.
That's how
Nice.
you are.
Yeah. Well, now I've grown into it.
Yeah. So you're thrusted into this music business. You have no reference of the business. You 13 years old, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Super talented.
yeah. So now, what was going on during this whole time? I mean, you're shopped to you signed with A&M. You know, which is A&M still operating? Are they still around?
They are.
Okay.
They are.
Okay. Well, for the listeners and for the youngsters, this was huge. This is a major label.
Yeah,
so
that
just so
was
y'all
really
understand,
big.
this
Janet
is big.
was on
Janet
it
was on.
when
Janet
I was
Jackson.
there.
So I just want to, so they
Sting.
understand the magnitude of what you were doing at the time.
Yeah.
So what was that like once you got on A&M?
Wow, that was amazing. I mean, everything moved really fast. I immediately got the bread. We got in the studio. We started making the album. You know, I threw South Central Cartel. Prodigy did a lot of my
Shout out to
tracks.
South
He did
Central
half my
Cartel.
album.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Spice One hopped on it.
Shout out to Spice One.
Few other people, you know, syndicate people, and it all happened really, really fast. You know, all of a sudden I had a publicist and I had a lawyer, and then O.J. Simpson's daughter was my stylist, Arnell Simpson.
Arnell, yeah.
You know, and I'm like, I know your dad. Like, he's the guy. Well, forget it. You know, but it was really dope just to be. It almost seems like a dream, you know, when you're that young, you don't really know like the magnitude of what's going on.
This is real. Yeah.
You know, but it almost seemed unreal, you know, because I used to listen to Ice, and my mom was really young back then, and she'd be like, "Yeah, Colors, yeah, you know, yeah, oh, that's the guy that sings Colors," and I'm like we're with him, like we're at his house, we're like family, like.
Instantly.
So it just happened so fast.
And this was the big white Hollywood Hills.
The big Hollywood
The
Hills.
crack house.
Yeah.
The crack house.
Yeah. So we were babysitting each other in that house too, having tons of fun.
Too much fun.
So let me ask you, with you obviously having this hardcore music and having that, you know, you have somewhat been exposed to the streets, I guess vicariously through family, but you guys are in the Hollywood Hills, right? Are you indulging in South Central? Are you in the streets kind of sort of as well?
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all can tell it now. Y'all grown.
Yeah.
You know.
I took it to the hood. I took it to the hood.
I had been to the hood. Like, you know, the thing is, like, for me, like, even the Hollywood schools, all the kids were bussed in.
Yeah.
That's the thing about
They came
LA.
from
The
the
rich
hood.
people don't have a lot of kids.
Right.
So a lot of 80-70% of the kids are coming from the hood. So all my friends are from, you know, the LA hood. I had already been there, you know, with my stuff in the Bay, but now my friends are from, you know, my best friend was from the jungles. So, you know, every weekend now I'm in the jungles. So now I have a boyfriend that I'm lying to about my age, who's like 5 years older.
Damn.
That's from the jungles.
Damn, okay.
You know, so now I'm like walking around with, you know, late at night with crocus sacks and you know,
Had your red
ducking
shoestrings?
bullets. I did.
Yeah.
I went through that stage,
Yeah.
and you know, it was crazy. So yeah, even though we're up there,
Yeah,
Right.
I got you.
you can't really escape.
I'm home court, it's standing trial. Why ain't I see you round back when I was down? Karma's on the way. What goes around comes around. Karma's on the way. There's nothing you could do now. You gotta pay.